Welcome, heavy equipment enthusiasts and diecast collectors. Thank you once again for joining me for this episode of Diecast Emporium. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at an entry-level diecast scale model from Ertl. It's the Case Construction 621G wheel loader in 1:50 scale. This model was released pretty recently, within the past year and a half or so. It is a relatively inexpensive model when we talk about 1:50 scale adult collectible scale model items. The MSRP for this model from most distributors is just shy of $27, so again, very affordable. We're going to unbox it, take a look at the details and functionality in a minute, but as we always like to do, let's take a look at the packaging. You can see that it says Case Construction here, 621G wheel loader. It is important to note that there is no protection covering the model itself. It is open, as you can see, so it's likely that dirt, dust, that kind of thing will get in and interfere with the model, particularly on the rubber tires, so be advised of that if you store your models in their box. You have Ertl in Tomei down here, ages 3 and up. On the side, you have Case Ertl, and again, some information about it in a different language. So let's go to the other side. That's a little bit better. Case 621G wheel loader 1:50 scale die-cast metal replica. The real machine has 151 horsepower, can reach speeds of 24 miles an hour. It has an operating weight of 28,159 pounds, and it has a 2.75 yard squared bucket capacity, cubic yard bucket capacity. Underneath, you have all of your copyright information for Case International Harvester North America Industries. Here's your information for Ertl and Tomei, including their website and phone number, and barcode is down here if you need that kind of thing. So the first time that you take this model out of the box, you will have to deal with 3 twist ties that are very similar to these, because these are exactly what they are. So I would recommend having a pair of sharp scissors or pliers, something readily available. And then you just pop open one end. By the way, the back of the box, before we do anything further, this has some of their other models in the Case line. They have a bulldozer in 1/50th scale. They have a couple 1/16th scale skid steers, and then this model obviously as well. By the way, if you might be interested, check out the link at the top right corner of your screen. I recently reviewed the brand new excavator with a thumb by Ertl for Case, so if you want to check that out, you can seek that video. Okay, so let's get the end opened, pull out the model. As I just mentioned, there's where all 3 of the twisty ties go. Once you get those out, you can pull the model out, and it is complete and ready to display. With the loader out of the packaging, let's start by taking a look at some of the details on this model. You can see that the graphics for Ertl standards are actually pretty nicely applied. You have 621G back here. You have Case and some lights that are done up pretty nicely on the back. You can see that right there as well. Also some lights at the rear. 621G as well on this side. Case on the side of the loader arms. Moving towards the front, if you look at the very top portion of the cab, you have Case Construction right here. Moving along to the left side, very similar to the other side, Case on the other side of loading arms and 621G. If we take a look underneath the model, you can see again, not a whole lot to write home about, but you do have some information about Ertl and Case, signifying that it is a licensed replica, and you can get a good look at the tread pattern that's on the rubber wheels. You can see that the model is held together by a series or a trio of screws, so if you do want to disassemble this for any particular reason, it should be pretty straightforward to do that. All right, let's turn our attention now to the functionality of this model. Let's give it a run for its money, see what it can do. Let's lift the bucket arm, the loader arms, up to its full height, which is there, and its dumping angle goes to there, which does leave a whole lot to be desired, but again, consider the price point that this model is made at. So let's see if it does reach high enough to load a 1/50th scale dump truck. So let's bring in a Kenworth from Diecast Masters. And as you can see here, unfortunately, it is not high enough to load the side of the dump truck. Now, of course, to get around this, particularly if you are displaying in a diorama setup, you can make a ramp, a loading ramp for the loader so that he can get up over the side, which in a real-world application or a real-world setting you would often see on construction sites. Then, of course, you could get around this issue, but it would be nice to see one of these days Ertl figure out a way to make their loader arms on both their Deere and Case equipment go up high enough to clear the side of an American-style dump truck. All right. It does have a decent range of articulation, which is helped by this pin right here. So as you can see, if you were to steer the loader in one direction or another, it doesn't have a problem doing that. And that basically is it for the movement or the functionality associated with this inexpensive wheel loader option. Last pose I want to show you guys before I add my closing thoughts is how does it look on a lowboy. So let's bring in our Diecast Masters lowboy. This is the International HX520 tractor with the XL120 HDG lowboy. Now this lowboy, of course, does not have the outriggers extended because this is not a wide load machine. So there you go. We'll center it. And as most pieces of construction equipment are, it does make a pretty convincing and decent-looking transport load, especially when it's zoomed in just like that. So that will conclude my review of Ertl's Case 621G wheel loader. They've been doing 621 wheel loaders for almost 2 decades now. This is the newest iteration of it. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that they haven't improved the functionality or the angle or the height of both the angle of the dump, of the bucket dump, or the height in 20-some years, which again is a bit disappointing. But the graphics are much improved. The quality of the paint is very much improved from previous versions of it. And again, crucially, if you are just getting into our hobby or you're looking for a wheel loader, maybe your first in your collection, that will not break the bank, this is a good option for you. That being said, if you have more funds available to you, I definitely would recommend one of the Caterpillar wheel loaders by Diecast Masters. But again, it all depends on what your budget looks like and what you have allocated to you in this hobby. As always, I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Thank you guys so much for watching. One last thing before I sign off. If you look at your screen right now, you will see a link for other suggested videos that I have done, particularly, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, for that Case excavator in 1/50th scale. And you guys let me know what you think of it down in the comments section below. Until next time, take care and be safe. I'll see you in the next review.